The Overwatch 2 Season 9 patch notes have leaked early. These are from Rupo's stream, which begins with the global projectile size increase. Most damage dealing projectile sizes have been increased, allowing all heroes to hit their targets more easily. Hit scan weapons with a high spread and rate of fire, like Soldier 76's pulse rifle, have been increased by 0.05. Average hit scan weapons and abilities, such as Cassidy's Peacemaker, have been increased by 0.08. Travel time projectile weapons that are shotguns, such as Roadhog's Scrap Gun, or have a high rate of fire, such as Ramatra's Void Accelerator, have been increased by 0.05. Travel time projectiles that travel slower than 50 meters per second, such as Pharah's rocket launcher, are increased by 0.15. Travel time projectiles that travel 50 meters per second or more, such as Hanzo's Storm Bow, are increased by 0.1. Projectiles excluded from this update include Ana's Sleep Dart, Orisa's Energy Javelin, Bridget's Whip Shot, Reinhardt's Fire Strike, Roadhog's Chain Hook, Sigma's Accretion, and Sombra's Virus. Other hero abilities such as melee weapons and energy beams are adjusted in either damage or weapon hitbox width and is specified in each hero's update, which goes into the health pool update. The total hero health for all heroes, including health, armor, and shields, are increased from around 15% to 20%. Pilot Diva's health was increased from 150 to 175, Mech Diva's armor was increased from 300 to 375, while Maga's health was increased from 300 to 400, Orisa's armor was increased from 275 to 350, Ramatra's health increased from 200 to 275, Reinhardt's health increased from 200 to 250, and armor increased from 250 to 275. Roadhog's health increased from 550 to 650, Sigma's shield increased from 200 to 275, Winston's health increased from 200 to 225, and armor increased from 200 to 250. Wrecking Ball's armor increased from 100 to 175, while for damage heroes, Ashe's health increased from 200 to 250, Bastion's health increased from 225 to 275, Cassidy's health increased from 200 to 250, Echo's health increased from 200 to 250, Genji's health increased from 200 to 250, Hanzo's health increased from 200 to 250, Junkrat's health increased from 200 to 250, May's health increased from 250 to 300, Pharah's health increased from 200 to 250, Reaper's health increased from 250 to 300, Sojourn's health increased from 200 to 250, Soldier 76's health increased from 200 to 250, Sombra's health increased from 200 to 250, Symmetra's shield increased from 100 to 150, Torbjorn's health increased from 200 to 250, Tracer's health increased from 150 to 175, and Widowmaker's health increased from 175 to 200. For support heroes, Ana's health was increased from 200 to 250, Baptiste's health was increased from 200 to 250, Bridget's health was increased from 150 to 200, Alari's health was increased from 200 to 250, Kiriko's health was increased from 200 to 250, Lifeweaver's health increased from 175 to 200, Lucio's health is now 250, Mercy and Moira's health is now also 250, when Zenyatta's health was increased from 75 to 100, and shields increased from 150 to 175. For the global health generation passive, all heroes now regenerate 20 health points per second after 5 seconds of not taking any damage. As well as this, all hero ultimate costs are increased by 10%. Now going into hero changes, for tanks and Diva, the self-destruct outer radius maximum damage has been increased from 900 to 1000. The inner radius range has been increased from 4 to 6 meters. For Doomfist, the rocket punch, max impact damage has been increased from 50 to 75. Max wall slam damage increased from 300 to 40. For Junker Queen's rampage, wound damage over time has been increased from 60 to 90. For Reinhardt's rocket damage has been increased from 85 to 100. For charge, the wall impact damage has been increased from 225 to 275. For Winston, the Tesla cannon, damage has been increased from 60 to 75 damage per second. Primal Rage, the punch damage increased from 40 to 50. Zarya's particle cannon, primary fire beam width increased from 0.15 to 0.2 meters. For damage, reload speed bonus on elimination has been removed. There's also a new passive, where dealing damage reduces healing received by 20% for 2 seconds. For Ashe and her Bob, weapon damage has been increased from 14 to 17. Cassidy's Deadeye, the initial damage rate increased from 130 to 150, and the damage rate was also increased from 260 to 300. Echo's Focusing Beam, The width increased from 0.2 to 0.25 meters. Duplicate, the maximum combined health including health, armor, and shields increased from 300 to 350. Genji's Dragon Blade swing recovery has been decreased from 0.9 to 0.7. For Hanzo's Storm Arrows, the damage was increased from 65 to 75, with the cooldown reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. Pharah's Rocket Launcher, the self-damage percentage was decreased from 50% to 25%. Recovery was reduced from 0.85 to 0.8 seconds, with the projectile speed increased from 35 to 40. There appears to also be a new ability called Jett Dash, which will be for your secondary fire. There will also be an option to set Jett Dash on double jump. It's a horizontal dash in the direction you're moving. It also has a 10-second cooldown. For jump jets, they're going to be 20% weaker. The cooldown increased from 10 seconds to 14 seconds. It gives 50% of your fuel back. Concussive Blast, 25% weaker horizontal knockback. The range was decreased from 8 meters to 5 meters, and the cooldown was decreased from 9 seconds to 7 seconds. But it also now deals 30 explosive damage. For the Rocket Barrage, it now instantly reloads the rocket launcher. It now shows spread of the barrage when the show accuracy option is enabled on your crosshair. For hover jets, the fuel decreased by 20%, speed boost increased by 100%, and it now gives you a better aerial maneuverability. You no longer have to refuel in the air, and you only will refuel once you land. Fuel can increase to 200% capacity if it's filled from the jump jet and Jett Dash. It can be used without fuel to slow your descent. For Symmetra and the Photon Projector, the primary fire beam width was increased from 0.15 to 0.2. For support in the regenerative passive, it now reduces the delay before regeneration, as it begins by half, 2.5 seconds. For Bridget the Rocket Flail, the damage has been increased from 35 up to 45. Kuriko and the Kunai, the base projectile size was reduced from 0.18 to 0.15. For Lucio's Soundwave, the damage was increased from 25 up to 35, while the knockback was increased by 12%. For movement lockout duration, it was increased from 0.3 up to 0.45. For Mercy and her Guardian Angel, there is an active duration on jump and crouch bonus movement cancellation, as it was reduced from 1.5 to 1 seconds. For the Sympathetic Recovery, the health recovered from healing dealt increased from 25% to 40%. Moira in the Biotic Grasp, secondary fire increased from 50 to 65 damage per second. Secondary fire target acquisition radius increased from 0.6 to 0.7 meters. As well as all this, there is a global projectile size increase update, where most damage dealing projectile sizes have been increased, allowing all heroes to hit their targets more easily. So these are all the leaked patch notes we just learned about. Let me know what you're most excited for about Season 9 in Overwatch 2.